Hello,
Oh, hello.
I'm Sammy,
And I'm Steve.
and you're listening or watching Rose Plate Special, the most dramatic animal facsimilingist. Why did I say that? Friend zoningist. I don't know. I don't have
Mm,
good ones for today. Do you have one?
calling Susie at the airport when your paradise girlfriend is just probably 50 feet awayest
See, it's not
ever.
as easy as you think, ever. So I was like, "What happened in this episode?" We're talking about week 7 today.
Oh,
Um,
there's two
yeah,
things going on. Kim doing PDA and making me go, what? And Jeremy being dumb and making me go, what?
bleh. Yeah, okay, so really interesting stuff. So first of all, we're never on our game, so I don't know, I can't make excuses for
No.
us. We're just, like, never on our game.
No. Why are
But
you guys so late? It's my fault. It's entirely my fault.
yeah,
Well,
because of your fucked up face.
yeah, my face. Here's what's wrong with my face.
Your
Obviously,
face looks, like, totally normal on
it,
my
I know it
screen,
looks
just so
okay,
you know.
and you're probably looking at it now. And you're like, Steve, you just have more facial hair. Like you're kind of scruffier than you normally are, and there's a reason for that, and that's because I haven't been able to shave in a while. And the reason I haven't been able to shave my face in a while is because I tripped over my own 2 feet in my own driveway, and this is what they say: whenever you fall, you should try and land on your chin. Right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
That's what I've always heard.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what I
yeah,
did,
I
at
think you
least.
just did what everyone advises.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
totally normal thing to do, just, falling in your own driveway, I landed directly on my chin and knocked myself out cold completely, and woke up bleeding profusely from my chin, needed 4 stitches, and, had a bit of a concussion, so, yeah, that was good. It's great. It's a great time to
Yeah,
be me.
yeah, I'm, like, looking at our texts. Oh, I said because I was checking in on you because in your area, the flooding was very bad,
Mhm.
and so, I said, "I'm watching the episode now, so I can record whenever, as long as you aren't underwater." Because I was my Monday was kinda screwy, like, my car broke down and stuff like that, and I was like, "Wow," and I felt very thankful because a tow truck was able to arrive immediately,
Mm.
but I got, like, a message that was like, "Weather in your area may mean you get nothing at all," and I was like, "Oh my god, like,
Jesus.
AAA, how could you do me like this?"
Yeah.
And then I remembered, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I gotta still check in with some people," and so I texted you that just to give you an update and make
Mhm.
sure that you were okay, and then you said, "I'm not underwater. Did faceplant in my driveway, though. 4 stitches and a concussion, LOL."
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And I was like, I was like, "Oh, no, that's so bad." So, that was not
Yeah.
what I expected to get back from you, but yeah, and then I think I said something like, "Well, whenever your face looks better."
Yeah, so, my
Yeah.
basement's bone dry, house is fine, very, very lucky because obviously around here it was pretty bad, so I'm extremely lucky, but yeah, I, just face planted and people are like, "How did you do that? Like, how did you trip over your own feet in a perfectly, like, sunny day?" And the answer is, like, have you ever seen a toddler, like, walking for the first time? That's just like me every single day, and sometimes you toddle onto your face, so
See,
here I
you
am.
just met a baby today,
I did meet a
and
baby.
you said you weren't a fan of babies, but maybe it's just because they make you confront the things about yourself that you don't like as
Yeah.
much.
The
Did you ever think
reason that
about
I
that?
don't like babies is because I'm baby. That's the problem.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. It just hits too close to home.
Yeah.
So you just
Welcome
can't
to
do it.
Therapist Plate Special.
Tell me more about your baby,
I mean, babies can do
hatred.
anything, okay? Like, if I was sitting around and I couldn't form a complete sentence and was just, like, pooping my pants, people would probably be upset with me. So, yeah, whatever.
That's so true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I briefly mentioned before we came on because maybe this is something that you also need. Well, what sounds
Mhm.
like actually you did deliver this to yourself
Mhm.
because, like, so there was all that like gentle parenting and, helicopter parenting, hover parenting, whatever. There was actually like a woman who came onto my FYP the other day. And thank goodness it was like a response because I was like, is my algorithm broken? But she was, like, super upset because she was like, "My son in kindergarten," like, it was his first day of kindergarten or whatever, and she's like, "He didn't drink water all day." And I'm like, "How could that possibly be a thing?" And she's like,
Mhm,
"They had a water break and everyone, all the kids brought out their water bottles except for him." She packed it in his bag. It was
mhm.
in the side of his bag. Apparently, he didn't know where it was, didn't know to look for it, whatever. It's like, but that tells me that your 5-year-old is not self-sufficient enough to like know where his drink is and his backpack. Like, you didn't tell him? Like,
Mhm.
you don't teach him any self-reliance at all. Like, by the time I was 5, I know that I could tell you, like, where I mean, not like we drank a lot of water as
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
It
no.
wasn't a thing
Yeah.
in the
When we
early
were kids,
90s.
no, nobody drank it. It's
No,
like, there's a water
we
fountain,
just
but you would
gargled rocks.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It's like, no, we
yeah,
just chugged, like, milk and apple juice, I think, and then water
yeah,
was like, "Yeah, there's drinking fountains," but then it's like you had to ask the teacher, and maybe she'd say, "Yes." We didn't get water
yeah.
breaks with water. Do you think I could be
We didn't
trusted with, like, a Nalgene or a Stanley at the
yeah, we didn't
ripe
get
old age of
water
5?
breaks, and yeah,
Yeah,
well, and I had bubblers because that's
'cause
the
yeah,
correct
where you grew
thing
up.
to say.
Bubbler.
It's a brand name, okay? Just like oh, yeah, we talked about this before when you get mad about time machines.
Yeah.
I actually got a new, business, like, credit card, business debit. I will just show this part.
I say, "Girl, don't show
It
your
says
number."
it says time on it. Can you
Yeah,
see that?
because
Yeah.
the company, I forget which bank or credit union or whatever, the guy was obsessed with the idea of the time machine brand ATM, so much so that when the trademark lapsed, he bought it. He
Yep.
just bought the trademark, so
That is my
now they
bank.
own it. There you
Yes,
go.
yes. But anyway, yeah, so she was, like, really mad about this whole, like, like, about her kid not getting water or whatever, but I'm like, I just feel like this is a parenting fail, not like a teacher fail, like,
Mhm.
also, just find it very hard to believe that, like, the teacher did not accommodate any kind of water, and also, like, why can't your kid just say, "I'm thirsty, can I have some water?" Like, there's just
Yeah.
so many holes in the story that I just was like, "I can't believe it." But now there's, like, this new wave of parenting called, like, FAFO, like, fuck around and find out parenting, where
Mhm.
it's like, "Oh," and this sounds like Gen X kids. Like, this is, like, gonna raise Gen X type kids, where it's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, you burnt your hand on the stove? Well, fuck around and find out. Well, yeah, you took a chance and it didn't go so well, you had a consequence, fuck around and find out." And, like, I totally think children need consequences to understand, what happens
Mhm.
with their actions, but also it's like, is there a line where it's like, you don't want them to be in mortal danger or be like, "My parent did not care about me, and they let me hurt myself over and over while I was learning." Like, that
Oh,
seems
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
weird,
No,
but
and
it sounds
I
like that's what you did to yourself is was my
basically,
point. Yeah.
basically, yeah, and I think for me, I helicopter parents drive me crazy,
Yeah.
especially as someone who was a former teacher, absolutely drove me nuts.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you dealt with some interesting parents.
Oh, real interesting. Drove me crazy. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, I was mostly set up with, like, the correct information and stuff to be a successful little guy, but I was probably given way too much independence and autonomy. Like, I'm not saying I was like the little match girl just out there in the cold just hanging out, but, like, my parents were just like, "Yeah, whatever, just don't die," which I managed not to do, but also, when I think back, I'm like, "Holy shit, I should not have been allowed to do most of the things that I did." So, maybe don't do
Yeah.
that, I don't know, but,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, you need, like, a sprinkling of those experiences, and most of them
Mhm.
should be like, "Oh, they didn't really know that I was doing that,"
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, to have an abundance of them seems bad, and
Mhm.
also to be completely bubble wrapped, also bad. Although maybe you should be bubble wrapped.
I honestly should be bubble wrap. At least somebody bubble
Yeah.
wrap my face. Like, I don't know. Like, how did I not just catch myself with my hands? There's so many
Yeah.
questions here. I don't have the coordination.
Yeah, and I mean, I wonder if this season of Bachelor in Paradise has the coordination required to be
Mhm.
successful. I was really
Mhm.
proud of
That's a good transition.
thank you, I
Especially
tried.
as I look at my terrible man power rankings and where everybody's sitting currently.
Terrible man power rankings. I
I gotta
mean,
say, Brian
it's
has
bad.
always been a top tier terrible man. And I think at some point they were trying to rehab his image, But the one thing I will say about Brian, and the one thing I respect is, even as the show's editors try to paint him in a better light, he finds a way, you
He
know?
finds a way to be in a worse one.
Exactly. He
Yes.
endures. He must be terrible. He must be the worst man. Everything about this man I despise with every fiber of my being. I would
Yes.
rather take 3 more face plants than spend 5 minutes in a room with Brian. So,
Wow.
mhm.
Yeah, wow, that's like, it's like the Weird Al song, right? "One More Minute" or whatever, you
Yes,
know?
exactly.
Yeah. I'd
Exactly.
rather do all these things than spend 1 more minute with you.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, yeah, anyway, so, yeah, I mean, I was watching this in my cardio cinema, as I am now very excited about doing every week, and I would say Brian is a kind of a situation where it's like broken clock right twice a day type of a thing. Because I do agree.
Mhm.
I feel like someone needed to tell Bailey what was going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
The source, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like,
exactly.
he was
Dude,
not
is
the
there
right
any
source.
person on the face of the earth that believes that Brian had good intentions?
Right.
Brian, who every chance he's like, I love Bailey. I just think Bailey's a really special girl. I think she's amazing. I know she's with Jeremy. I'm not saying I don't want to tap that, but what I am saying is like she's very special. He clearly wants her. Okay, this is no one. This is a mystery to no one. He's just like, no, I would never. But I totally would. Like if she showed up when he did the late night rendezvous because he had to tell her during the late night rendezvous, no, not true. You're telling me if she showed up and was just like, hey, and then he was like, hey, like he wouldn't just try and get with her immediately. He wouldn't just throw
Yeah.
out his relationship.
I think he's really good at he's not good at covering his tracks. In a way, he kind of is because it's like he does have plausible deniability, I guess, because
Yeah,
like nothing happened and blah, 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 whatever. I
it's just
do
so transparent. Come
right.
on.
I do agree with Wells though that someone
Mhm.
should have told her, and people are getting mad at him about that, and I think that's the wrong thing to get mad at him about. Get
Yeah.
mad at him about literally everything else he's doing.
Oh yeah,
About
that's the other
being,
thing too.
yeah.
And one informs the other. He has been
Mhm.
awful, awful to a partner in paradise who is infinitely better than he is. Like he does
Right.
not deserve this woman, but he thinks he's too good for her. With his chief complaint of like, don't compliment me. It's kind of like
Yeah,
it
it's like,
turns me
"Oh,
off.
you're so sweet and want to be romantic, and you wanna know more about me. You're
Yeah,
smothering me." It's like,
you're smothering me.
yeah,
Yeah.
listen, I mean, you can go back on my Blue Sky posts, and you can see I've been team Parisa since the beginning, okay? I think she's great, and I think he sucks.
We have in our hands, we have like the evidence that he blows, right? And
Mhm.
it's his initial run on the Bachelorette. It's
Yeah,
how he has behaved towards Parisa. It's every time I look at him and I want to vomit in my mouth. There's all these different things.
yeah.
And then the idea that like he's coming from a good place when he's trying to do this thing for Bailey, that he's really trying to help her out. It's like absolutely not. You're
Mhm.
trying to drive a wedge so that you could be the shoulder to cry on, so that then you could be the lips to make out with. It's so transparent. And
It's
and
just yeah.
it's like when OJ wrote his book and it was called I Didn't Do It, but if I did, here's how I would. Like
Yeah,
we know what you're doing.
yeah.
We know
Wink,
exactly
wink.
what you're doing.
I didn't do it, but
Yeah.
if I did it,
Yeah.
this is how I would do it. Yeah, it's just really I think it's interesting because I do think he did it from perhaps from a he's interested in Bailey. I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just putting out
Yeah.
a hypothetical. That's a very strong possibility. But the other thing is he's obviously doing it for self-preservation reasons, and
Mhm.
the weird thing is I don't know why he thought this would be popular,
Yeah.
because even though I do think someone needed to tell her because she should be well informed going into, like, a big decision,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it came from the wrong source, and him telling her makes everyone else who didn't tell her look bad. It's like, you've gotta time it out. I mean,
And then there's the bro code
Mhm.
guys too. So
Yeah.
every conceivable person is mad at you except for the girl that you want to sleep with. And you've reached a point where there is no benefit to doing this except maybe you'll be able to slide into her DMs after the season is over and try and hit it.
And
Like
be
that's
like, "I
all
did
that's
the
it.
right thing." Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
being
You're not
someone
winning
who
any money. Everybody wants you eliminated now.
Right, exactly. I mean, being someone who has, like, wanted to get that kind of information and
Mhm,
was like, "Oh, I wish people had told me how they felt before," and also being someone who has received information about other people and didn't know exactly how to go about it and I've gone about it, like, different ways, like, it's like a couple times I've gotten information like that and I'm like, this is like secondhand. And
mhm.
how do I know it's true? And I don't know if this person would care or not. And am I going to just like blow something up that I shouldn't? But you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
holding a live grenade. I don't know what to do with it. So I feel like I mean, if I could go into Alex's mind, I feel like that's probably why she didn't say
Mhm.
anything because
Same.
it's just like, I don't know. And she did put out a statement. If I can pull it up fast.
Yeah,
But it
while
was
you're
like,
pulling
it was
that
a good
up go
statement.
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
I,
go
I
ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I agree with you, especially if you're getting this second or third hand. Like it's not my place if it's hearsay, basically. If I'm in
Mhm.
the room with Jeremy when he's doing that, then I may say to myself, well, this is wrong. Now, on the Jeremy side of things, and this is I promise it's not a you gotta hand it to him or anything. His thing is like we have to think about the timeline that we're dealing with too, because this is crucial. We as viewers are seeing this week to week. So we're watching it play out over like a month and a half or something.
Right.
It has been literally 7 days from the moment that they stepped foot on the island to like this point where she finds out that Jeremy called Susie. Okay. So when he was like, I thought I was just playing the game. Yes, sir, you were, but there's two sides of the game. And that is one, you have to realize that like you can play this back and forth thing. She obviously went on a date, you spiraled, and then you called Susie or whatever. But then there's the other stuff that comes with that. Even if that was the only thing he did early on, and then maybe you can justify like, I shouldn't have done that. Don't talk about it. Don't tell other people because they're only going to use it against you. Stupid. Two, if things are working out well with Bailey, maybe tell her early on, and early on is probably earlier than you would do in the real world. And then the other thing is too is like you can't keep talking about this shit. It's one thing if you think you're like bro timing with douche Brian in the hotel room. It's another thing if people are like, "Oh yeah, when we were at the weirdo bird party, he was like, I wish Susie was here as a puffin or something." Whatever he said. You can't keep banging on about it. I'm sorry. I know it hasn't been that much time in the real world, but out here
Mhm.
in Paradise Land, things are all weird. So yeah. And then there's the other thing too, where you got to realize, and I saw a little clip of Wells, and Wells talked about this. He was like, dude, what is Bailey even doing with him?
Right.
Because it's like,
Yeah, he
he-
said something like, "She's way too good for
yeah,
him,"
all
but
he does is
whatever.
when he's on Paradise, he works out, he sleeps, he is
Mhm.
like sunburned to all hell. Like he
Mhm.
looks like he has just been bathing himself in sunlight without any sort of protection. He
Yeah.
looks like shit right now.
Mhm.
And so, man, you're not in a position to flex and be like, "Oh, well, she can get mad, but she'll never leave me because I'm Jeremy." No, man. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, you should be on the
So
chopping block constantly.
I get that he was, initially he had 48 hours or something to make a connection with Bailey. She goes on a date, he's mad, he goes on a date, and then he's conflicted, obviously, because in this short period of time he has feelings for two different women, and then he does a dumb move, which is he tries to get Susie to come back and she doesn't. And then he's like, oh no, I actually like Bailey. So
Mhm.
there's a series of errors here. So Brian, legitimate snake man, evil. Jeremy, sunburned moron. Two totally different categorizations, both not great. But there's more going on underneath the surface here, I think. What is
Wow.
Alex's apology, by the way? I'm sorry, I'm monologuing.
No, that was good. No, I wasn't about to interrupt you. I was like, I'll just let you keep going. Yeah, so Alex's statement, this was on Alex's Instagram. Okay. So this is what she said. Hey y'all, I want to take a moment to address Monday's episode. First, I'd like to say that I should have told Bailey about Jeremy's phone call as soon as I could. I felt this way long before the episode aired, and I have apologized to Bailey privately months ago and have continued to do so. To provide more context, when Jeremy told me he called Susie, he did not tell me the details of the call. I believe that.
Mhm.
I also did not hear any of this private interview or his other ongoing comments about Susie. I believe he spoke differently about the whole thing to Brian than he did
Mhm.
to the girls. Um, this is why when Bailey tells me that Jeremy said he would propose to Susie, I stated that I had not heard him say that because I hadn't. I mean, it was not on camera. We did not see him say that to Alex. So
Mhm.
when Jeremy told me about the call, Bailey was away on her date and I was sleeping when she returned. The next day, I spoke to Jeremy again about the call in a conversation that wasn't aired, and he told me that him and Bailey had talked and were in a good place. I had a friendship with Jeremy before Paradise, but was still growing a new friendship with Bailey on Paradise, and it was difficult to decide what my involvement should be. However, I should have brought it up to Bailey regardless and checked in on her. It's not an excuse. Please keep in mind that a reality TV show is only showing small clips of long days and conversations between all of us. At
Mhm.
the end of the day, I am so happy that Jeremy and Bailey found a true connection on the show, and I continue to wish both of them nothing but the best. Looking forward to the rest of this journey. Heart hands, Alex.
Fine.
I think that's
Honestly,
a really good apology.
more than I would have given. I would have been like, I didn't know shit. I was just, I just heard some things, but I didn't want to stir the
Well,
pot.
I'm sure he said that because he was
Mhm.
telling everybody that we saw that. He was like, "Yeah, I called Susie. Yeah, I called Susie," but we heard him say those things to Brian. We did I
Mhm.
mean, I don't think he said that to any of the other guys that I
No.
remember. I
Which
think it was just
so
to Brian.
dumb to trust
Maybe
Brian of all people.
Dale. He might have said a
Yeah.
couple things to Dale, I feel like, but the biggest stuff he said was to Brian.
Mhm.
So,
And this is
yeah,
the other part of it too. If you're Alex and you hear like second, third hand, one of your gal pals, Parissa's like, "Oh yeah, I heard from Brian that actually Jeremy called up Susie and blah blah blah." Like if I'm Alex, I'm not gonna like go to Bailey and be like, "Hey, this is what I heard 3 steps removed from
right.
when who it allegedly came from." That's not my responsibility. I'm sorry. Like I heard some
Mhm.
shit, but because what if the opposite is true? What if like someone is being nefarious and just like seeding shit, which happens in these shows,
Yeah,
especially now that we've introduced not just love but actual competition
money.
and money
Yeah.
into it, and people start fucking with people, which they do all the time,
Mhm.
then the target is on my back because I took this rumor that I heard and I squawked it to this person and it wasn't true. And then I blew up a relationship and now Jeremy's gunning for me. Not going to happen.
Right.
I'm not saying
But
shit.
the thing is with Alex,
Hmm.
Jeremy, she heard it from Jeremy. She heard this from Jeremy, but
Yeah.
not the extent of it, right? And that
Hmm.
was before money came into the equation. This was before all of that. So what she knew was he called Susie. But like people get emotional and indecisive on Paradise all the time
Lot.
because
Yep.
it's a really condensed time frame and you'll see people go on a date and you're like, "Wow, like they're falling for each other." And then the next day they're like making out with someone new and you're like, "Okay, never mind." Like that is very normal in Paradise. And at the beginning of week 7, we're on day 13. So there's generally like 2 days ish per episode to give you a feel. So it hasn't been a week, but it's been about 2 weeks, and for us, it's been almost 2 months. So
Hmm.
that is like 4 times the amount of time that we perceive it to be because of how much time is passing between our days of watching it, just to put that in perspective like you were saying. Um, and so yeah, but it's like that's kind of what I'm saying, like, I have heard things. Oh my gosh, this was another TikTok I thought of. There was somebody whose birthday birthday party was everybody had to tell him juicy gossip, and,
Oh,
he
I
signed
love that. That's what
NDAs.
I want for my
I
birthday.
know, me too, and yeah, he signed NDAs and stuff so that he wouldn't tell, but there's all these clips of him like this, like, listening to something, and his eyes are getting wider and wider, and I'm like, "That's the best idea for a party I've ever heard in my life." Um, but, it's like I don't know why, it's like I'm that girl in the bathroom that people will tell shit to, you know what
Oh,
I mean?
same,
Like, I'm
same.
just minding my business, and someone is telling me about like, I literally had somebody this was, like, as I was going through my divorce. I'm, like, walking down the street, and
Mhm.
somebody I know came up to me and was, like and just started I had just come out of a yoga class with a friend, and they were, like, "I'm thinking about, like, divorcing my spouse." Like and I was like, "What do I do with that
Ugh,
information?
cool. Like,
What do you
what do you say with
mean?"
that? Yeah,
Like,
oh.
yeah. They were also like, "Oh, your ex said there was infidelity." I'm like, "Oh, he cheated." Um,
Mistakes were made.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, I taught passive voice. I understand this." But so she told me that, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny. Well, this is, like, the truth, whatever." And I was just trying to keep it short because it's like we are literally passing each other on the street,
Mhm,
and I have, like, other places I need to go. And then, yeah, they started being like, "Yeah, so I was thinking about divorcing my spouse and things aren't going well and whatever and da 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 da. What do you think?" And I was like, I mean, they're divorced
cool.
now, so I so obviously they decided to go through with it a long time ago. But I was just like, what do you do with that information?" It's like if they're and it seemed like a very like emotional response. So I was like, I
Mhm,
don't know. I don't know what this person's going through. Maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe, they're just like having like a moment and they had a really bad fight or I don't, you know what I mean? And maybe
mhm,
they'll settle down and feel differently and they're just like reacting really strongly like from the position of Alex, like that's kind of what it felt like. Is it's like this person came up to me, was in a really like emotional, vulnerable state,
mhm,
just spilled their guts at me without me like really knowing what to do. And then I'm like, well, do I say anything or do I just like see how this plays out? And I'm like, it's not really any of my business. Like
yeah.
if their spouse had come to me, like, I knew them as well and had said, like, "Hey, do you think anything's up with so and so?" Like, I probably would say, "Okay,
How's the
well"
marriage?
I'd be like, "Well, now that you mention it, something really weird happened the other day." Like, but I'm like, "This isn't my job to like,
Mhm,
this is between you 2. You need to sort this out."
yep,
So, that's kinda how I feel like Alex viewed the situation, and Jeremy did tell her that he and Bailey talked and, like, everything was all good, and I feel like we did see a snippet of that on the show as well. So,
yep,
I don't feel like it would have been great if it had come from her, sure, whatever, but she still didn't have the full details. Brian did. And
mhm,
yeah, it's like I think he's doing it to try to break up a strong couple
yep.
in
Either
the
for
house.
strategic reasons or
Yeah.
because he wants to bang Bailey, or both.
Right. But it's like they have answered well in the challenges. They perform well in the challenges. So
Mhm,
they are formidable opponents for people. So it makes sense to take them down. Like now the couples are starting to say, "Oh, yeah, we shouldn't take out the weak ones. We should take out the strong ones." It's like, "Yeah, no shit."
yeah,
So it's
stop
like,
getting rid of old people. What are you doing?
yeah, it's kind of
Do you
goofy,
think
right?
Captain Kim cannot win anything
They're not
unless
going
it's
to
a
make it
weird boat grandpa challenge?
they're not going to make it all the way. So it's like you might as well, yeah, just take out somebody strong. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's very interesting. Let's let's kind of recap the episode a little now that we're 30 minutes in.
Mhm,
Um, yeah, so at the beginning, my note was that all the contestants were portrayed as animals. And the funny thing was Faith was riding Kim and then there were some bugs banging. So that was kind of interesting. Um, but yeah, right out the gate, this whole thing is just like so weird. Like it starts with Brian and Prisa being in like a weird bad place
mhm.
and talking about how Brian made her cry the other night. And it's like, yeah, she's so sweet and she's so weird in a great way.
Yeah.
And it's like he's making her apologize for being herself. And like
A
I've
week
definitely
into the
been there.
relationship.
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
week.
Been
No.
there, done that, it sucks, it's not fun, and she needs to get out of there because she's way too cool. She's way too cool for this, it's just ridiculous.
Mhm.
Um, And then, yeah, I mean, here's the sign of, like, Kim not being able to make it all the way. I mean, his heart's he's got, blood pressure, heart rate issues. He had to wear a heart monitor. And it made Faith cry, which I thought that made me tear up a little. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm curious what you think because Kathy was really like she hates
She was
Kim
so
and
funny.
Faith.
She's
What
like,
the hell?
If Kim touched me like that, all my skin would die and fall off, and I'd just be
Kathy, I'm like,
bones."
girl, you gotta calm down. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, and she's like, it's
Let Boat
fake.
Grandpa
It's
be
fake.
horny. Come on,
Yeah,
like,
she's like, I think it's fake. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I
I
don't
don't think
read it
it's
as
fake. I
fake.
just don't want it to happen to me, and it's not. It's on TV. Like, the
Right.
boat
And
captain won't hurt you, Steve. It's fine.
And they seem to enjoy each other, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, mild spoiler, as far as I know, they are still together.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, they're off the show now, so I feel like I can say that. But yeah, as far as I know, I didn't really look into it that far, but I do think that they are still together. So like good for them, you know? And I kind of I don't know. I think they make sense. Like when people say they're surprised, I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't totally surprise me. I think they could kind of balance each other out in a nice
Mhm.
way. So, yeah, I think that works. Like, you don't want to be exactly like the person you're with. I think that's what kind of makes them like he's so serious. And like Faith, like, what did she teaches what, like broadcast radio classes or something like that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so she's like a horse media girl, like, she's cool, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's kinda nice, like, he needs that, he needs someone to kinda, like, push him a little bit.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I think it makes sense, but anyway, um, so we're dealing with that, like, he's got this heart monitor stuff and yeah, by the end of the episode, I think that's when we find out, like, all is good, so that's good. Um, we also have, a monitor on Leia and Jonathan because
Mhm.
Leia's like, "What the hell? Like, I'm still being friend zoned. Like, what is going on?" And he's like, "You know what? Yeah, I guess I should have been honest with you about that." But he did I mean, he was like, "I'm not saying that there's not a potential for more." And she's like,
Mhm.
"No." No, it's either yes or no. Okay. So like if we're gonna be friends, let's just be friends. And I'm like, okay, I guess.
Again, this sucks because, like, so Jonathan doesn't have a connection with anybody, whatever. Like, you can't force that shit, and he's not
Right, at least
trying
he's
to.
being honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
People are really, like, mad at him about
That
being
how can you be
honest.
mad at him? I'm sorry, you get stuck with the one woman I it's like, "Oh, well, no one's with her, so you have to be." I don't think so. Uh-uh. Not for me. He's fine. Now, he could have been a little bit more clear, but also he's like, "I don't know, she's hot. Maybe something will develop." I think he's just trying to be a normal human being, but you can't be when you're on Paradise. So,
Right,
anyone who's mad at him, no.
I
Uh-uh.
think that's the problem. Jonathan is very normal, and I feel like I always root for the very normal people on the show,
Mhm.
and a lot of the times they're not good
Like,
TV.
I'm sorry,
I
but
yeah, no,
if
I see
anybody
it.
sees any ghosts dancing across my face, I want you to know that there's just like we had like a tree just sort of like blew down kind of by the window here, and now the sun is shining through, and it's like angling sunlight into my eyeballs. So I don't have a
Yeah.
skin disease, or
If
I'm
you
not being
see if
attacked
you
by
see
ghosts.
any smoking or hissing, that's just because he's a vampire, so
I
it's
am a
fine.
vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
exactly.
It's fine.
That's the thumbnail.
Well, if I sit back, it's
Deja,
better.
clip it.
I'm
Don't
gonna do
forget to
this.
clip it.
Deja, make me look terrible. All the like angry takes are like, Jonathan's good. Actually, I never would have told anybody, especially Bailey, about anything going on, bros. There's the clip. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, Steve's worst moments. We'll call
Yeah.
that timestamp 34 minutes. So so yeah,
This is
no,
what I
I
need.
mean, it's like it's weird, right? Because it's like I'll feel myself go, yeah, that's fucked up. And then I'm like, wait a minute, wait, hold on. I'm in bachelor brain. I need to go back to regular person in the real world brain.
Yes.
Yes, like this is an accelerated timeline. Everyone who comes here acts like I'm in love immediately, and it's like it's been 13 days.
Yeah.
And if he's not attracted to anyone, and they're like, well, why won't he just like open up and enjoy this experience? And it's like, okay, so there's been like maybe a dozen women on the beach or something
Yeah.
like that.
And he literally gets stuck with one. There's one.
There's a chance that you don't like 12 people. You know what I mean?
It's a very good chance.
There's a chance that you don't like 12 people. It was so
I can tell you right
funny.
now,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like 1,200 people, so,
You
like,
know,
it's very
this was like a
reasonable.
conversation my husband and I had last night, oddly enough, because it was our second year anniversary this weekend. Thank you, thank you. And
Yay.
we were, like, reminiscing about, like, old bar stuff, like, old nightlife stuff, as we're, like he's been taken out today. We had 1 cocktail and 1 shot, and he has not done well today,
Just
let's put it
cashed
that
out.
way. Listen, I came home, I did some Denise Austin tapes and ate a bunch of bread, and I feel great today.
Mhm,
Um, but yeah, him not so much. We were, like, talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, remember, like, those 2 people, who worked at those bars?" And they were like, "They slept with everybody," I'm like, "But not me." And I'm like, "It's just so weird because it's like, yeah, how are you even interested in that many people?" Like, that's what I think about. And it's like, those are the people who would probably do really well on Bachelor in Paradise because they're
mhm.
just like, "Hi, you have a pulse, and that's very attractive to me."
Yeah.
And, for me, I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." So I think, yeah, he's just being like a normal guy, and they're like, "Well, why isn't he opening himself up to this opportunity?" Maybe, like, the woman or women he said he was excited to meet in Paradise never showed up. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, because they always ask them that question. Maybe they didn't show up, or maybe they were dating somebody else and he
Or
decided
maybe you meet them and you're
to.
just like, "Oh, you're not what I thought you
Right,
were," and that's
exact there's
okay.
so many different scenarios
Mhm,
possible. So, it's just really weird that, yeah, they're gunning for him like this, and I also think it's interesting. I'm sure that this is, like, something with bad relationship experience that Leia's had,
mhm,
but it's like, just like Kathy getting on Kim, like, "Oh, well, he's been touching everybody." It's like, well, that's kinda what Paradise is about,
mhm.
but at the same time, it's like but, the all the women being like, "Jonathan isn't interested in anyone." It's like, but that can also be
It's
a
totally
thing that
okay.
happens
Don't
in the
force
real
your
world.
love on our beautiful six-pack boy. Come on,
Yeah.
let him live.
He is, yeah, one of our faves, okay? So
Mhm.
you need to be nice to him because we said so.
Yes, and I need you all to just wrap your mind around the fact that 2 people can be ridiculously hot and not be right for each other, and that's
Yes,
okay. It's
and that's
okay.
okay. Listen, yeah, everybody get that brain rot out,
Mhm,
Wash get some Q-tips, get that brain rot out and join us in the real world here. So, anyway, but now that makes Leia happy because she's like, "Okay, if we're friend zoned, then we're gonna just win this game." And I'm like,
mhm,
"Yeah, that's fine. Or you could just leave yourself open to whatever happens."
mhm.
Maybe you're discussing it to death. I don't know. So there's this whole rendezvous challenge thing that happens this
Which
week.
is
You didn't
so
like it.
dumb.
So they basically like ask questions and everybody's got chalkboards and they've got headphones on
Mhm.
and they ask a question. It's basically the newlywed game, but you can't see each other and you see how people answer. And it's like, I mean, just because people don't answer things the same way doesn't mean they're not compatible. It's not like,
Mhm.
what do you think your partner said?
Yeah.
Like, how well do you know them? It's just like, these are
Mhm.
the thing we like all the same things.
Yeah, what's your favorite pizza topping? "Ooh,
Yeah.
pepperoni? Wow, we're so compatible." "No, you're not. Everybody likes pepperoni." Like, "Get outta here."
Again, well, yeah, I mean, again, it's like this is something I'm in like this group where what was it? I'm trying to remember what food it was. It wasn't a pickle. It was
Mhm.
something else. But oh, what kind of cookies do you like? Crispy or chewy? That was the
Oh,
question.
it's a good question.
Okay. And I said crispy.
Mhm.
And one of my friends who's in there said chewy. And when I said crispy, they got upset with me.
Oh, wow.
And they said, friendship revoked. And I said, listen, think about it this way cookies come out, you get the chewy ones, I get the crispy ones. And they said, good point. Friendship reinstated. And I'm like, that's how it works in our house where I don't really like, I'll eat a pickle if it is on a sandwich, I guess, but
Mhm,
I don't really care for them. I won't go out of my way to eat them. I'm not like one of those pickle weirdos who's like, "You
mhm.
gotta put it on everything. You need pickle
Have we
pizza
learned
and
nothing
pickle
from the
everything."
Jack Sprat rhyme that you learned as a child?
Yes, it's just it's exactly, exactly. Opposites attract, right?
Mhm.
So what happens is I get a sandwich, it comes with a pickle spear, my husband gets the pickle.
It's
Okay?
nice.
Like because he likes to eat pickles. He's not also a fanatic, but he enjoys eating them and I can give them to him and that makes for a good relationship dynamic.
Yeah, and you know what my
Yeah.
feelings are on the matter? I always say ACAB, all cookies are beautiful. I don't care if it's crispy, I don't care if it's soft, I just love cookies.
How when did
ACAB
that
all day.
jump in your head? That's a good one. All cookies are beautiful. Yeah, I mean, well, and then people were like started to get into technicalities and they're like, "Well, what about Oreos because those are crispy or whatever." It's like, "Well, maybe." Or well, I was like, "You wouldn't want to eat like a chewy almond cookie. Almond cookies are best when they're crispy."
Mhm.
Like,
Anytime
let's
someone asks me
think.
a question like this, where it's just like this or this, I have 300 follow-up clarifying questions that I need answered first.
Okay, you need to come to this group with me because like that's always the thing that
Yeah.
derails the whole conversation and then
Mhm,
the person who asks the questions gets mad
mhm.
and goes,
That's why we have
"You
a
cannot."
podcast together because I
Yeah,
derail the
you
conversation.
cannot ask. Yeah, it's like every trolley problem cannot come with 500 follow-up questions. We will never get this done.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
trolley has already killed everybody.
Well, but the
Yeah.
point that you're getting to here is the questions are silly. And the other
Yes.
thing is like in the timeline of where we're at with The Bachelor right now, the whole thing is silly. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone is solid as a couple. Okay. You're not because the whole idea behind this is temptation. So earlier on, they had essentially this exact same challenge where you could do like secret smooches with someone if you wanted to, and
Mhm.
people did it, but that was very early on. Now we're further along. You've solidified the couples. If this was regular paradise, perhaps you could jumble things up a bit,
There would be some shakeups, yeah.
but you can't because no one else is coming to the island. Okay. Uh, and you've introduced money. You've introduced reasons to not break up your couple because at the very least, you're like, I know this person well enough and we work well enough as a team. And if I screw this up, if I blow up the couple, then I also lose a chance at $500,000. So am I going to like secret rendezvous someone and screw up all that money? No.
Yeah, exactly. The stakes are way too high and also say this worked well. Say someone did a rendezvous and
Mhm,
it worked well and they decided to couple up. And then what happens to the other 2? They couple up with each other and then they gun for you and take you down? Like, if you had a good comfy standing, you've
mhm,
put it on shaky ground, like, what are the new rules? You know? Is it, well, if the couple disintegrates, no more couple, the new couple stays, the old couple goes? Like, they never introduced the mechanics of what happens if you decide to shake things up. I mean, I
mhm.
guess it's still like the men have the roses, the women have the roses, and they're switching. So
Oh, we
presumably it
shouldn't even
could
have this
be
is my other opinion. We shouldn't have
right.
roses at this point. Why are we doing a rose ceremony? We're
It should
we're
be all voting. It
yeah,
should be
we're
all voting.
we're
Yeah.
voting to eliminate couples, but also then we have to have this performative rose ceremony simply because we've always done it. What purpose does a rose ceremony serve
Right.
in Bachelor in Paradise at this point? Nothing. Nothing at
Right.
all.
Right. I think the only way you could do a rose ceremony is by announcing who has the votes, which is
Mhm.
kind of what they did, but it's like then the roses should go to both of them at the same time. I don't know. It's just
It's
weird. The whole
yeah, it's
thing is
silly.
weird. So, yeah, but my point is, yeah, the questions do not mean that it's a good couple, like that you answered all of the questions the same way. Like, yeah, it can we've talked about this before, like chemistry and compatibility, right? Like those are two important things.
Mhm.
So but compatibility can also mean that like my partner has different interests and I take interest in their interests. Like
Mhm.
I want to know what they're interested in. Like, we talk a lot in our house about like what the center of our Venn diagram is,
Mhm.
and it's spinal tap if you were wondering. It's spinal tap.
Good
That
choice.
is that is the
Excellent.
exact center of our Venn diagram, and it makes perfect sense if you know us. But like, yeah, it's like, am I into like 80s hair metal? Like, no. Like, have I gone to go see Kiss with him? Yes, and I would do that again, and I would go see other bands, whatever, like, it's no big deal. Does he really want to go to, like, improv shows with me? Not all the time, but he knows that I pick good ones, and so he'll go, right? So it's like, but would I really wanna date, like, a white man in improv or marry a white man in improv? No.
Mm-mm.
So, just because I'm interested in it doesn't mean that that makes for compatibility, okay? So think about your lives, white men in improv, the majority of our audience. um, so yeah, that was kind of weird. Like there were some pairings, like I wrote down some of them. Oh, and Jonathan and Leia did win. So again, they have a good partnership.
Mhm.
So they should just focus on that part. They're getting too bogged down with technicalities. Leia's getting
Yeah,
bogged
you
down
don't have
with
to kiss,
technicalities.
just be
Mhm.
buds.
Just be buds. It's no big deal. Alicia and Andrew, that was kind of funny. And they were like, no. Dale and Parisa, interesting. Kim and Kathy was like, hell fucking no. Alex and Jeremy, and they were like, Brian and Kat, that was interesting. Leia and Jeremy, again, I know. Bailey and Spencer, and that was funny. Spencer was like, "Ha ha ha, you know what I'm gonna say." Jess all the way. Bailey and Brian, and then I was like, "Oh damn!" And then yeah, so then Brian, I felt like Brian kind of didn't. I think that's the end of his plausible deniability because I feel like he was a little too forward in this
Mhm.
little pre-rendezvous meeting.
Yeah, why is he
Yeah.
such a weasel? Yeah, he's not believable.
Yeah.
Weasel man.
So then they wait, they're gonna vote later. I wrote so now they're voting, but I'm like, they didn't vote yet. Um, so this is interesting. So yeah, this is when Bailey finds out that she's been invited to a secret rendezvous. And the
Mhm.
whole thing is weird too. I was trying to figure out like the timing of this. Like, wouldn't you notice that people are missing? Because it's not
Mhm.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like, did they tell them that they had to be in their room for a certain period of
The whole
time?
thing
Or
is mysterious
that
to me,
whole
and
thing was so
what is like,
weird.
what are how does any of this work? I don't understand.
Yeah,
They're
because 'cause they're
silly.
like, no one will know. And I'm like, I mean,
Also, half of them don't know what the word means. I think there's one conversation, so he's like, "What's a rendezvous?" And someone's just like,
yeah.
"It's like French for sexy meetup."
Was that Dale who asked that? I'm just
I
assuming.
probably, yeah, I don't know.
Tumbleweed
It
brain.
might have actually been Jeremy, I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's so funny. Okay. Who didn't know?
and I think Spencer was the one who clarified that.
Oh, I do remember Spencer clarifying, which is funny because you'd also think Spencer would be the kind of person who would be like, "What's a rendezvous?" Um, anyway, I don't know if I can find it quickly. But yeah, that was funny. But I just wasn't sure exactly like how that would have gone. Like if multiple people had gone on these rendezvous, wouldn't it be really easy to figure out, well, like these people left the room at this time and these people
Mhm.
left the room at this time. So I was just like very confused
It's
about
it's
that.
all strange, and
Yeah.
this entire episode is sort of laying bare all of the problems of like, dramatically restructuring your TV show, and this is the first time you're rolling everything out, because all this stuff reeks of, "We didn't really think about it, and we don't know what the outcomes are because we've never tested it before." So, yeah, it
Mhm.
feels like we're watching the beta version of what a final Bachelor in Paradise could look like a few years from now, but we ain't there yet, that's for sure. There's a lot of bugs.
Okay, I found the video too. Yeah, there is a lot of bugs. Okay, yeah, you're right. It was Jeremy. See, I'm giving Jeremy too much credit. Sorry, Dale.
No, he has,
I
like,
mean,
sunstroke, look at him. Like, of course he doesn't know what a rendezvous is. He doesn't know what his own middle name is.
but yeah, and to Spencer's credit, he said it's like a meeting, but it's French, so it's sexier, which is a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
Um, and but then Jeremy goes, "Oh, a sexual meeting," and it's like that's not what
No, that's not what
Spencer
that means.
said. That's Spencer was just making a joke. Oh
Yeah,
my
can we get
god.
him a bottle of water, please?
Embarrassing. But anyway, yeah, so funny. A sexual meeting. So yeah, nobody decides to go on the secret rendezvous because Brian is willing to meet with Bailey, but Bailey's like, I can't, and she's just like nervously doing her nails the whole time. And here's the other thing that I think is weird. People are getting on Alex about not telling Bailey about Jeremy. But to
Mhm.
be fair, Bailey did not tell Parisa that Brian asked to meet with her.
Yep. In fact, she was really bad at lying
She was
about it too.
super cagey about it, but I get she's
Awful.
in an awkward spot, like, I'm not blaming Bailey. What I'm saying is I don't think anyone should be vilified for this stuff. I'm not saying that Bailey was in the wrong for that, but
Mhm.
also, it's like, arguably, you're much farther along, the couples are solidified, it's make or break. I would assume that Bailey already knows that things are weird with Parisa and Brian, although I don't know how much Parisa is really doesn't seem
No.
like she's talking about it that much with the other women, how she's feeling. At least we haven't seen it on camera.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that, yeah, it's like if I was roommates with someone and the person that they were with, like, asked for this, I would probably say something, but I think she was giving Brian the chance to say something first,
Mhm.
because I don't think they had a chance to tell each other. I do think that there was, like, a prescribed amount of time that they weren't supposed to leave their rooms unless they were going to a rendezvous.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with roommates, it's like, well, then someone's gonna know.
Yeah, someone will
You're gonna
always
put
know.
some pieces together. So, I don't know why they thought that would be, like, so secret. It's just
No,
kinda
the
weird.
thing is so silly. All of it's silly.
Mhm. So, yeah, Bailey's like, "Well, I'm gonna go talk to Jeremy first, and I'm gonna tell him that Brian wants to meet with me." Um, and yeah, that's kind of yeah, that's, like, way nicer than what Jeremy deserved. I mean, that's the thing, she always gives Jeremy a heads up, and he's so not thoughtful, so and she always has to wake him up to
Because
tell him
that's all he
everything.
does. Because he has sunstroke. He just keeps
"Jeremy, wake up." Yeah.
lift weights, stand in sun, stare at sun. Why no feel good? Ah, like that's his entire thing.
Wow.
A
Amazing.
sun-bleached caveman making poor decisions without
Yeah, I think
thinking
I
about
mean,
things.
my conspiracy theory is he's only been outside for 15 minutes, and that's just what happens
That's
to
just what
him.
happens, yeah.
Yeah, listen, as the palest person in the world, I feel like I'm allowed to say that.
Mhm.
Um,
His
so
his emotional intelligence or lack thereof is matched only by his pastiness and
yeah, for
vulnerability in
real.
the
He
sun.
is like a little Victorian child, like, come
Yeah.
on. So, yeah, anyway, Parisa, we've got your back and you gotta watch your back. This guy, he's bad news. And then okay, so they have that whole thing. Parisa's gotta, like, talk to Brian to figure out, like, what the hell's going on.
Mhm.
And, Brian's like and yeah, oh, yeah. Because Paris's like, "Just be honest with me," and he's like, "No, it's, like, nothing like that. I just wanted to tell her about this, thing that's
Mhm.
Jeremy said and whatever," and she's like, "Oh, okay," and it's like, I mean, I've been where Paris's been, where it's like, you just want things to be good as fast as possible, so you're like, "Okay, the coast is
Yeah.
clear and everything's okay, and I'm just gonna convince myself that I'm in a good position," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, all this stuff is making us closer." And I'm like, "Oh, it's like hurts to watch. It hurts to watch. It's really awful." I'm just like,
Mhm.
"You're going to get to the other side of this and you're going to be like so much stronger and more confident, but right now this man is really I mean, it is that, like, yeah, pretty Bratz doll and rat from Fletch Away situation. It very much is that. Um, and yeah, this is where Kathy is, like, dogging on Kim, and she's like, "This whole Kim and Faye thing is not real. I don't believe it." And it's like, "Kathy, just because he's not your cup of tea doesn't mean that, like, other people don't like that tea."
Yeah.
Um and then, okay, so there's like most of this is like gossiping. Everything that happens after this is like a lot of people gossiping in little groups. Um, and Jess is so funny because I was like, I gotta like, what does she remind me of? Like, who does she remind me of? And then I realized Jess reminds me of every girl I knew who dated someone freshman year of college and is now married to them. And that
Hmm.
number is quite high because I went to a private school in Indiana, okay? So, like, they were all out there trying to get their MRS degrees. I literally wrote a paper about this my sophomore year, about, like, the weird ceremonies, especially, like, in sorority life because I was in a sorority,
Mhm.
about, like, we would do did I talk about candle passes before? I don't remember if I've ever talked about candle passes. Um Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay, let me explain. I'll explain as quickly as I can. So basically in our sorority, and I think in all the sororities on our campus, I don't know how popular this is in every sorority, but we used to do something called a candle pass. So you'd like make an announcement based on like if something was happening, like somebody got into a relationship, they're engaged, they're married, they're pregnant, whatever. You would have this like candle pass. And what would happen is it would start with one girl in the circle, and like it
Mhm.
was someone who knew what the news was, and the number of times it went around in the circle would tell you what the news was. It was like between 2 passes and 6 passes, and then who it landed on was what the news was about. So we would, like,
Can't you
count.
guys just talk?
We talked afterwards. It was a ceremony, I don't know, but it was interesting because most of the I mean, all of the announcements had to do with, like, relationships, right?
Yeah, okay.
And it would be and yeah,
Sammy
like
has broken up with Bruce. That's your college boyfriend.
that was high school.
You dated a Bruce?
Yeah, he had really sweaty hands.
How
Sorry,
old
Bruce.
was he? 70?
Well, no, we were we were freshmen in high school. But
I mean,
anyway, that's
those
another
college
story for
degrees
another
are fine.
day.
Yeah. Shout out Bruce.
Sorry, Bruce. Oh my god, if he watched this, that would be so funny.
I've just never met a Bruce who wasn't eligible for Social Security. I'm sorry.
Well, I
That's
told him off on an answering machine, so
oh,
anyway, he
that
knows how
guy.
I feel.
Okay.
So, no, so, yeah, it would all be like, we had, like, lavaliers, which were, like, the necklaces with the Greek lettering, so, like, if someone lavaliered you, it meant, like, I hold you at the same esteem as my fraternity brothers, or if they pinned you, it meant, like, you are higher than my fraternity brothers, and I got beat up by my frat bros because, you know, the patriarchy, and so it'd be stuff like that, or like someone got engaged, whatever. So yeah, so I think I sat through 2 candle passes. I wasn't, at the school or the sorority for very long, but I went to 2 different candle passes.
Mhm.
But it was like it was so interesting because I'm at this school where, and I actually asked this as a survey question. A lot of sorority girls were interested in coming to the school because they wanted to be engaged or married by the time they graduated, and that was more important to
Ew.
them than getting a degree.
Ugh.
So this was like a very normal thing. And I'm not saying that that's who Jess is, but that's who Jess reminds me of. Like I was like,
Mm.
what's the vibe here? The vibe is, oh, I settled down immediately and now I am planning my entire life, and I'm like, oh, that's like she just gives off those vibes. And good for her. Listen, I hope they ride off into the sunset together. Although we've seen quite a few couples in recent years where people call them like mom and dad by the end and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
it didn't work out. So who knows what'll happen in the real world, but, um, yeah, anyway, I just had to share that because I was like, "What is" like, she's giving off this vibe, and I need to place it, and when I placed it, I was like, "Oh my god, it's exactly like all those girls I went to school with." Um, this is around the time too okay, so, like, Bailey finds out what's happening, she gets really upset, understandably. That sucks, that's like a punch
Yeah.
in the gut. And it is something that Jeremy should have said, but good for you, Bailey, for waking up Jeremy to yell at him about this. Well, I mean, she didn't even yell. She was just crying.
Mhm.
To be upset
And he's
about
like,
this.
"What?"
Yeah,
He's like half
good.
asleep still.
Get him out of his groggy state and
Yeah.
tell him that
Get his
he's
ass.
awful.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, "I'm so glad you woke him up for this to make him feel bad." Um, getting woken up to that is just like that's gotta be the worst feeling ever, and he was like, "What?" And you could see, like, all the walls crashing down in his brain, like, "Oh, no. That thing I said very loudly and impulsively to Brian, the man who should not be trusted." Was this the episode where Dale said something like, "I thought Brian had more integrity than that," and I was like, "Are we looking at the same person?" Like, he's like, "I thought more of you," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"You did? Why?"
I guess, I mean, in Dale's defense, I don't think I could think any less of Brian, so
Yeah,
maybe I don't
yeah,
know.
Dale's just like, "I thought you were better than that," and I'm like, "You did? Why?"
I
Is
thought you
that
were
like
merely pond scum. Turns out you're worse.
yeah, yeah, I was just like, that was
I
so
don't
strange.
know.
He's like, "That's low for you."
Well, I
I'm
mean,
like, "I feel like
Dale
it's
is
par for him."
we have strong feelings about Dale as well
Yeah.
on this show, so
Yeah, that's what I was like, "Is this projection? Is
yeah.
this you hoping that you're read that way? Like, is
Yeah, it's like
this
when people
an
say
image
game recognized
rehab?"
game, except it's douche recognized douche.
Right, yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, Brian, a fellow good guy.
Yeah.
Just
One
like
of the good
me in
ones.
every way. We're
Yeah.
both good." Right? Um, but anyway, yeah, so this I mean, this sucked because it's like Bailey's crying next to this douchebag, and then she goes and wakes up another douchebag and cries with him. And to his credit, he didn't lie
No.
really, and that's good. So the one thing I'll give to Jeremy is he didn't get mad at Bailey. Like he didn't turn it around on her and get mad at her, yell at her, anything like that, like get defensive, lie, anything.
Mhm.
He did comfort her and, tried to, like, ease her, feelings of being upset. So that I really appreciated because I was hoping that he wasn't going to be like, "Oh, you're making it all up," or like, "You're crazy, delusional, why would you say such a thing? Where did you hear that?" Like, he did try to get to the bottom of it a little bit more to understand who was saying this stuff, which understandable. But
Mhm.
I do like that he comforted her and validated her, but I just don't like that he said all that stuff in the first place because
Yeah.
it's disingenuous. You just can't trust that how he actually feels about Bailey. And she is too good to be a second choice. Like Susie is also good. Bailey and Susie are both great. And so neither one of them should be like the backup plan. And
Oh,
it's
totally.
gross. Yeah.
Even if you realize, like, after the fact, you're like, "Oh, my backup plan was really good." I it's like, well, shit,
Yeah. It's
dude.
like, well, she's off being someone's first choice somewhere, like that,
Yeah, it sucks. Well,
Yeah.
and again, I get that he was playing the game, but you have to think that even if you take a moonshot, maybe your moonshot ain't gonna work out, and then what are you
Right.
left with?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. The whole situation is bad and icky, and obviously it was the center of our whole recap and the center of the whole episode because
Mhm.
it was the most controversial thing that's happened so far. There's just like not a lot going on the beach. So, um but yeah, oh, that is okay, but now I'm going to contradict myself because at some point, Bailey did come to him and say that he had said that he would propose to Susie, which we saw and heard him say.
Mhm.
And he said he never said that. So that
Yeah.
is lousy. So at that night, he was very comforting, but I think that was the next day
Mhm.
that he said that to her. Like they were walking on the beach or something, right? And then he was like, I never said that. And I was like, well, you did. But anyway, we saw it.
Mhm.
Um yeah. Dale's exact thing he said to Brian was his integrity is too high for
It's too
that.
high.
And I'm
Integrity
like,
levels unprecedented.
I'm like, those are strong words, Dale. I don't know. Um,
Is that how we measure it? God, the whole
yeah,
thing is dumb. I'm sorry. This is
yeah.
Dale. Shut
Your
up, Dale.
integrity is too high. So now they're gonna like get into this like voting territory, right? Okay. Remember when I went on that rant about Sean a couple weeks ago?
Mhm.
Yeah, Sean, you didn't have to tell us that you were a big fan of America. We
Yeah.
know. We know.
We kinda get it, dude.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a big fan of America. I'm like, yeah, I could tell. So that's
Also,
so
what a
fun.
weird thing to say, like,
Yeah, big
stop being a
fan.
little freak.
Big fan. He's so weird. Yeah, Sean, like, he's lucky because he really, like, skeeves me out, but because of, like, the other terrible men on the show, he's getting off way easy. Like, he's just
Exactly.
always gonna fly under the radar. Um, but anyways, like, yeah, I love America and I love voting. I'm like, okay. It's just like a
We do it
weird
all the time, and nobody does it like us.
it's like a weird pageant answer.
Mhm.
Okay, also, there's like this little snippet around that time where someone was like, "Oh, you guys made out?" And I couldn't tell who that was about. Was that about Leia and Jonathan or was it just like a random audio snippet about somebody else?
I have no earthly idea. I have no recollection of that, so
You don't
I
remember
can't
that?
weigh in.
Oh,
I can't weigh
I
in if
actually rewound it and pressed play again, and I was like,
Mhm,
"Can I surmise anything from any of this?" It was like when they were all in a group,
mhm.
and this was like when everybody was chatting right before like the voting time, like the cocktail hour before the voting time.
Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah, probably,
I
and I
was
don't
like,
think it
"Who
changes
did?"
anything. You know
I
what's a
know,
really good way to
but
see if
I
you have
wanted to
physical
know.
chemistry with someone that you may or may not be attracted to? Make out with them. How do you feel afterwards? Do you feel excited? Really great? Geez, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's a spark. You're like, I don't know. Well, maybe there's not. So,
Anyway, it was very
yeah.
interesting to hear a little thing, but I could not figure
This is
out
they been doing
exactly
some
what happened.
weird sound editing too. Like my boy Jeremy, no, he's not my boy. First of all, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Jeremy, a man who is not my boy. Uh, the only thing I will say, really, in his defense, sort of following the fallout of Bailey confronting him on not telling her about the Susie
Mhm.
stuff, is they ADR'd his ass bad. Like there's at least 3 instances that I can recall vividly where I was like, whoa, that was definitely an audio splice that you guys did there. That is not supposed to be there. And which fine, because I'm sure if you were a producer and editor, you would say, well, it was for
Mhm.
clarification on this, that, and the other thing. But when it's that blatantly obvious, then it's very easy for someone to be like, oh, they edited it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of accusations about that throughout the season from multiple people who've been on the show, and it
Mhm.
sounds like it's more egregious than it's been in the past,
Yeah.
which I believe. But again, like no one can make you say something that you didn't say. So if a producer wants you to say a certain thing and you're not quite sure why they want you to say it, you can always say no. It might mean you get less airtime,
Yeah.
whatever. It might mean that they tell your story a different way. So you got to be strategic about it. You never know how they're going to edit you. Like it's all unpredictable.
Mhm.
But, it's like,
I'm about to
yeah.
find out with our TikTok clip edit of the things I've said on this show.
Yeah, we're gonna have you like it's gonna splice all these things together where you're like, I like punching kittens or something, and you're
Yeah,
like,
and then at the end, it's
what?
just gonna be like, and I stand by every word.
Yeah, exactly. That's
No
how
one
it's
has edited anything I've said to be untrue. Just teeing it up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's the thing, like, I mean, yes, you could I always think about that Simpsons episode because my brain is just Simpsons episodes. It's like half Simpsons episodes. So I always think about that Gummy Venus de Milo interview where
Mhm,
where Homer's talking about sweet candy and they make it sound like he's talking about a babysitter's sweet can. And that could happen. And you see like the clock the arms are going like this in the background because
you
it's
can get
so
sweet canned
spliced
at any time,
to
yeah.
heck, you know. And it's like, yeah, I definitely have noticed more ADR, but at the same time, like no one can make you say certain things. Like no one can make you say, yeah, I want to propose to Susie or whatever, or
Mhm,
like, whatever things that you've said. Like there's a certain now maybe there's a splice that says like he could have been like, "In no way did I ever say that I wanna propose to Susie on the spot, but I just wanna talk to her."
mhm.
Maybe. Maybe.
Very possible,
Maybe.
yeah.
Very possible, very possible. But would that be associated with, like, having, like, a total crash out and calling? I don't know, probably not. So, who knows? Who knows? These things will be left on the cutting room floor. They're up
Mhm,
for speculation forever. And usually, when contestants come out and talk about these things, they quickly get tapped by producers and they go, you can't talk about this.
no,
So
no.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I definitely think that there's some slicing and dicing. So we'll pay attention in the weeks to come, things that we think like come out
Mhm.
a little
The contestants can't
suspicious.
say it, but we can, unless
Yeah.
ABC wants to pay us because my integrity is for sale.
There we go. There's another one.
There's another good one, yeah.
Yeah, my
Asia, you
integrity
getting all
is for
these?
sale. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, like what is for sale for sure are people's
Mhm.
votes. And like
Yes.
if you were playing it right, you would just be a people pleaser up until the voting. That
Mhm.
is how you play smart. Um or at least go unnoticed so that no one is putting a target on your back. But instead, and people are not voting strategically either, because like how the hell did this be how it worked out? Okay, so um Brian's like, okay, there's definitely a target on my back. The men have the power this week. I need to watch out for like what's happening, right? But it's like the men have the power, but everybody's voting. So that's another confusing thing. Um, so um there are two, okay, so basically it was really like Keith and Kathy, Faith and Kim, and Brian and Parisa, who were like potentially on the chopping block. That
Mhm.
people were like, gotta get them out of here. Again, eliminating the Goldens, not the smartest strategy, in my opinion.
No.
But you do what you're gonna do, I guess. So
Mhm.
what happens is, yeah, Keith and Kathy get to stay because I'm sure Kathy has politicked her way through all of that.
Sure. Of course.
She's like, "Why? What's the point? Why would you get rid of me? Little old me? I couldn't hurt a
Mhm.
fly. Come on. I'm gonna be in your corner. I'll vote for you. I got your back." I know Kathy is like definitely doing that kind of stuff behind the scenes. Um, and Keith's like, I just want to hang out. He has no strategy, but Kathy's got all the strategy. And Keith's strategy is hang very close to Kathy. Smart. Smart. So somehow, Brian gets the last rose, which means Lee and Faith go home. I said Lee. Did I say Lee
'Cause he
twice?
looks like
Kim.
Kim? 'Cause he looks like Captain Lee from
Because
Below
he looks
Deck?
like Captain Lee. I literally did I write Lee in my notes? That's so funny.
Yeah, because Kim was like,
Listen.
"If anybody votes for me, I'll put a boot in your
God
ass."
damn it. No, I never wrote Lee, I wrote Kim, so I'm
Mhm.
not completely losing it, I just went into a fugue state and said Lee. Listen, he wishes he was Captain Lee because
We all
Captain
do.
Lee is cooler for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, Kim and Faith go home, but it's fine because again, you kick them off early, they live in the same place, if they wanna hang out, they can hang out, it's no problem. It's literally the lowest stakes people to remove.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
know? But the fact that not a lot of people voted for Brian enough to get him out and that there were enough people to vote Keith is surprising. That shows me that your strategy is all backwards.
Mhm.
Like, why? Why vote Keith? Like, he's not a threat. Don't worry about him. He's
No.
fine. You know, you don't have to worry about that kind of voting someone like that off until like way later. So, like, there's no reason to worry about them now. But we get one more week of probably stressful TV to look forward to because Brian and Parisa stay around. And right now things are way up for Parisa. She got, one of those love kernels that
Mhm.
gets talked about on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. If anyone knows that reference, probably not. Um but Rachel Bloom had a great song on there. I don't know if she was the one who wrote it. I just assume she did because it's very her. But about someone who gives you just a little bit of attention, says one nice thing to you, and you're just eating up those love kernels. And that's what Brian gave her. So she's like, it's enough to stick around, and I feel fine about it.
Well, and Brian, he really wants to be the main character, but the
Mm-hmm.
problem, Brian, is you wanna be the main character, and you think you're gonna be the protagonist when you, my friend, are the antagonist. You're a bad guy. You're a
Yes.
bad guy, buddy. You're just gonna have to come to terms with this. And the sooner you come to terms with it, the more I'll probably like you. Like, be a douchey, slimy villain, but own it. Don't sit here pretending to be Jafar from Aladdin, who is, actually has the best interests of the world in mind. Don't, no, 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 no. I don't think so, buddy. You're a supervillain. Just go with it.
And that reminds me, this is a perfect thing to close with, I think. That reminds me of the story that I sent you earlier today
Oh,
of someone
God.
who really thinks that he can be a hero and he
No.
really needs to get his head straight.
Yeah.
Um,
You know who
this
else
is
thought he was a hero? Ted Kaczynski. That's
wow. I wouldn't go that far. Yikes.
but also, if you are posting on social media a shirtless picture of yourself with walls of text, absolutely not. You're spiraling. Just get step away. Step away.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Um, I didn't say those things.
No, I
You
did.
said those
100%.
things.
Yes.
But what I will say is, okay, there's like this I think is just annoying and gross in and of itself. There's a lot of people who, like, for some reason didn't like Rachel.
Mhm.
And again, I think it's just because she's a normal girl. I don't
Yeah.
know. And I think because she's gorgeous. I don't know. I think there's like weird jealousy and shit. Like Rachel is like one of like the most like stunning women that's ever been on the show. And I think she's got a good personality. And even when she spirals, I think it's fun. Okay. So I like her. Listen, Rachel and Gabby, we're the dream team. Love them both so much.
Mhm.
And Gabby has gotten a lot of credit and notoriety and she's definitely wackier than Rachel. We all know this. But like Rachel is a wonderful person, I think, and parasocially.
Mhm.
But for some reason, like people have just like really come at her in a way that like they did not come at Gabby or a lot of like past bachelorettes. She's just gotten like a lot of unnecessary hate. And
Yeah.
it's kind of weird because like she was on I think she was on the Vile Files, whatever. She was on some podcast recently and has been talking about this whole perfect match stuff, which we'll have to cover soon. And, the stuff with Clayton and whatever. And I mean, she's talking shit. Susie's kind of talked shit. And, Gabby's also this talked shit,
Mhm.
in their own ways. And now people have started to be like, oh, now I'm starting to like Rachel. I'm like, she's been like this the whole time. So I don't, it's not like she's changed her personality. So you just
Mhm.
weren't paying attention. You just hated her for no reason, which is just weird. But Clayton is just constantly having to rehab his image because these women are just like coming for him. Now, do I think it's good that that one weird ass woman like claimed that he had a baby with her and whatever? No, nobody deserves that. That was
Oh,
terrible.
that was
That was
bad.
terrible. No, that should not happen to a soul. I don't care how much I dislike them. What a nightmare. I'm so sorry that he went through that. But he does himself no favors. And I will post this in the notes when
Mhm.
he posts like a photo of himself and he's like, resistance training is a lifestyle. Gym at 5:30, 6 days a week. No alcohol consumed. In bed at 9:30 p.m., 6 days a week. Eating healthy, whole foods with no processed foods, 6 days a week. And yes, I'm going to read this whole thing to
Okay,
you.
and just pause real quick because if you're going, "Why does this sound familiar?" To me, it sounds like have you seen the movie American Psycho when he's, like,
Mhm.
describing his morning routine, and he's like, "And then I ice my face for 30 seconds, and then I do 97 put" like, that's what this is. This is the American Psycho training montage.
Yes. So there's a lot of men on like I mean I'm only really on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram. The only time I
Mhm,
see Instagram stories is like when I see them on Reddit basically or on TikTok. So I saw this on Reddit. Um but yeah, so this is everything that I'm about to read you, plus what I just read you, is all part of literally one image on an Instagram story. That's why Steve said wall of text. Like this is what we need to express to you. But there's like plenty of men on like TikTok and stuff. Thank God I only ever see the stitches, the responses to the weirdness, who
mhm.
post like their morning routine of, it's like I get up at 4 a.m. and I do all these things. It's like also that man who like spends like $250 million a year or some shit like that trying to like reverse his age. Have you heard about him?
Yeah, he just looks weird.
Yeah. He just like looks like moist, like
Yeah,
and pale.
it's
Like he does
good.
not look healthy.
No, it's
So,
great too because he's
yeah.
not even that old, and you're like, "Ooh, dude, I don't
Yeah,
know."
he's in his 40s, but you're like, "Are you?" Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. So anyway, he continues. I've lifted weights at least 5 days a week for a minimum of 1 hour a day since I was 12 years old. I'm obsessed with the gym. It's the first thing I do when I wake up to get a dopamine release and start off my day on a great note. And it keeps me mentally sane. The days where I don't lift, I'm more anxious/agitated. I don't need to share every hobby with a partner, but I found within the last couple of years like, is that shade to all the women that you've, like, been with in
Yeah.
Bachelor Nation? What the hell is up with that? Anyway, that weightlifting is a non-negotiable for me in a relationship. I'll be working out well into my 70s and likely until I cannot physically lift anymore. I want to share that part of my life with someone else and be one of the gym couples people see around. It's just a personal preference at this point in my life. He continues. And I forgot
Why are we sharing with the
I read
class? That's what I
how
wanna know, Clayton.
bonkers this was. Okay. And by the way, Rachel and I have spoken on the phone twice over the last week. We both agree that we have different lifestyles, and that's perfectly okay. We respect that about one another and just want the other to be happy. We also both agree we make a mess on reality TV together and need to quit doing that laughing emoji. Like, he's like, "Yeah, no, she's on my side, guys." I'm like, Rachel's probably too nice to correct this,
Mhm.
because she's not Gabby.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gabby's
Um
like, "Oh, you like to wake up at 5:30 and lift heavy things? Is it easier to lift because you're a thumb?"
Yeah, she's and he's just like, mental health is no joke." It's like, "She called you a thumb, you can't handle that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe don't be on 2 reality shows now. If you can't handle public criticism, you are putting yourself on reality TV. Nobody is forcing you."
Yep.
That's pretty mild.
Sorry, Thumbelina. Go cry about it.
Somebody actually has used it as a meme already and put him in, like, a clown wig and a clown nose. And they've changed some of the captions, like, "Clown core is a lifestyle." Ha
It's
ha
so
at
weird.
5:30.
Even if this is important to you, like if you're like, "Oh, a non-negotiable for me in my relationship is someone who's into fitness as much as I am because it's a major part of my life and blah, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever." Fine. Fine. Why are we putting this on the internet? We don't need to put this on the internet. Nobody needs to know this. What are you doing other than being weird? You're being weird, man. Don't be so weird. Like, what? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Imagine me like, I just posted a picture of myself shirtless, which, by the way, you're a vampire. Just every morning, I wake up at 7 a.m. I hit snooze because sleep is important to me. I take a shit. I wipe my butt. Like, what? No one needs to know any of this.
Yeah. It's weird. It's very
It's
weird.
so weird.
It is really weird behavior, and
Absolute
somebody
thumb behavior.
it's just strange because it's like, yeah, I too have a daily routine, but I'm not doing it for other people. And my daily routine is different from my husband's daily routine because we have different schedules and different priorities for the things that we want to fit into
Do
our
you even lift,
day.
bro?
I do lift, bro. Okay, I am the person in the relationship who lifts,
Mhm.
and I don't and I have a home gym. So, am I gonna be part of one of those gym couples that everybody talks about? No, because I
Um,
work out at home.
there you
So,
go.
it's like, no, and I never once in my life was like, "Oh," when I went to a gym, because I used to go to Gold's Gym. I think I mentioned that last week,
Mhm.
and that's why I built a cardio cinema in my basement because 'cause I've been chasing that cardio cinema high since I got one at Gold's Gym. But, like, when I went to the gym, okay, when I was actually someone who went to a gym instead of having going to my basement or whatever, I would go there, I went and watched Clueless on the treadmill, or I went to Zumba or cardio kickboxing or whatever. And then I like went into the locker room, like toweled off and went home. I wasn't like, "Oh, look at that gym couple over there." Like I was like, "I don't want to be perceived while I'm here. I'm definitely not going to perceive anyone else." The only people I talked to at the gym were like my instructors and my friends that I would do exercises with.
Mhm.
So, who is anyone I mean, maybe I'm out of touch. Stranger things have happened, but,
Yeah.
like, I just don't think most people go to the gym and go, "Oh, yeah, that's such a cute gym couple." Like, what are you talking about?
Weirdo
Like,
shit.
I'm just like, I hope that nobody sees me do something, like, goofy. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. I'm just like, I hope I'm using this machine correctly. Um Boy, I hope I don't trip and fall off this treadmill. I'm not like, "Oh, look at that couple over there." I'm gonna be talking about them because that's what people do. People talk about gym couples. Yeah, I see them around. I see
Yeah.
them around, and I know that
Sorry,
they're a gym
girls.
couple.
If you can't spot me at my personal best, you don't deserve me at my worst. Or so what? That makes no
Yeah,
sense.
it's so strange. Somebody posted in the comments. I would say this Reddit post is like
Oh
definitely
god.
like a must read. But somebody posted like a New York Times article from like a couple years ago, and the headline is one partner runs the marathon and the other does everything else. And they're talking about, like, the self-indulgence of people who run marathons, and the other person is left to, like, pick up the slack and support and all of that. And listen, as someone who has very strong main character energy in my relationship, I'm always trying to be mindful of that. Like, am I, like, I always kinda check in and go, "If I do this thing, it's going to inconvenience us in some way and make you have to do something extra. Are you okay with that?" You
Mhm.
know? But, like, so they're saying, like, "Listen, Clayton, if you're both a gym couple and you're both prioritizing all this stuff and you're spending all this time on your daily routine, then, like, when are the dishes getting done?" You know what I mean? Like, maybe you could think about, "Well, I have these interests, she has these interests, and when she's off doing those things, I'm taking care of these things around the house, and then when I'm out, she's taking care of these things, and we have a functional relationship." But instead he cares about aesthetics
Mhm.
and, just like silly bullshit. And I really think he's pulling Rachel in because I mean, maybe she will respond because I will say the one thing is I feel like she's gotten a little more confident and a little more fiery, but she's being as honest as she has been in the past.
Yeah.
So, maybe she will come back, but like he kind of put her in a spot because he's like, "Well, we've talked about this." I think that's like very strategic. But yeah, somebody in on Reddit also compared him to Andrew Tate and said he probably likes Jordan Peterson.
He probably does.
I
Clean
mean,
your room, Clayton.
yeah, it's just like it definitely is like giving like a teenager who doesn't understand relationships yet.
Mhm.
That's what I have to say. So is there a gym for personalities? Because he needs to start hitting that 6 days a week.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, I mean, it could be worse. Clayton could also be on this show, and he's not anymore.
No.
So that's lucky. Hopefully next week, it'll be better. I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll see.
But we're going to be a little late in our next episode posting as long as all goes well. I'm going to be the one who looks messed up. So I
Oh,
will
yeah.
not
Looking
be
forward to it.
Although I might be able to do it real quick Tuesday night before I go in, so if I need distraction and decide I wanna do this, you might get an extra early episode.
Oh, how cute would that be? We'd
So
love
we'll
that.
see. Either way. Okay, but anyway, if I see you before or after Friends, just know that, you don't need to go into the gym ever if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You can just take care of yourself however you need to. I would say hydrate. Don't wait for water breaks because you never know where your mom stored your water bottle. But just take care of yourself. Go out into the sunlight, but not too much if you're very pale.
Yeah, don't do needle drugs. And also don't trip over your own feet in your own
Don't,
driveway and break
yeah,
your face
don't
open and
get
bleed everywhere.
concussions. No
Yeah.
concussions.
Just wake up and go, "Oh, no, did that happen?"
If you need an adult, it's okay. But you are also an adult.
Wow. Depends on who you ask.